You know, there's that feeling you get when you're really gearing up for something big. Could be a major project, maybe a personal goal, or for a lot of us, that excitement building for the fall hunting season. We get obsessed with the gear, the spots, the strategy, but sometimes, well, the most vital part gets kind of pushed aside ourselves. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something absolutely essential, but, surprisingly often forgotten when it comes to hunt prep. And our guide for this is a really great article from the AHL blog. It was written by Connor Hermamesh back in March 2022 called Conditioning for the Hunting Season. So our mission here is to pull out the key insights, basically give you a shortcut to understanding why getting physically ready is just as crucial as, say, your rifle or bow, and importantly, how you can tailor that preparation to the kind of hunting you actually do. And why talk about this now? Well, as the article points out, winter's finally breaking, warmer weather's coming, and that makes this the perfect time, really the ideal window to start working on your hunting fitness. It's not just about the game cams or food plots. It's fundamentally about making sure you are ready to perform. Okay, let's unpack this a bit. When we think about getting ready for the fall hunt, our minds usually jump straight to the external stuff, don't they? Things like, setting up game cameras to figure out deer patterns, planting food plots, finding that perfect tree for a stand, clearing shooting lanes. All that's definitely important, no doubt. But what about the actual hunter, the person doing all the work?
Yeah, it's really interesting how often physical conditioning just gets, well, overlooked
Mm-hmm.
or maybe underestimated. The article makes a really strong point that it's foundational. I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. You need stamina just to haul your pack, maybe a tree stand, all your gear into the woods, often over rough ground. But then the real kicker is packing out, especially after a successful hunt. You're tired, maybe it's dark, and suddenly you've got this significant way the animal to get back to the truck. That's serious exertion. And that's not even mentioning just the hiking involved, sometimes miles and miles, just to locate game across tricky terrain. Without that base fitness, everything else just gets harder and, frankly, riskier.
That makes a ton of sense. And the article stresses that hunts aren't all the same, physically speaking. Different types of hunts demand pretty different levels of conditioning. So it's not like there's one single workout plan that fits everyone, which makes understanding these details really valuable, I think. You got to match the prep to the hunt.
Exactly. That's the key takeaway. And like you said, the timing mentioned in the article with warmer weather now, it's a real opportunity. It's not just a vague suggestion. It's like, hey, get outside now, waiting till August or September. That's probably too late to build the kind of endurance and strength you really need. It takes time.
Okay, let's start with maybe the less intense end of the spectrum, but still really important. Small game hunting. So we're talking coyotes, turkeys, waterfowl, rabbits, that sort of thing. What does that kind of hunt usually involve, and what conditioning does the article recommend?
Well, for small game, it's often a mix, right? You might be sitting and waiting, like for turkeys or ducks, but then you could be walking quite a bit, maybe flushing birds, stalking squirrels, or covering ground looking for coyotes, often through hills, fields, uneven ground. You're almost always carrying a pack with essentials, maybe decoys, calls, water, snacks. And here's something people might not fully appreciate. Even a small game animal like a big gobbler or a coyote, well, you still have to carry it out, sometimes a fair distance. That adds up. So while it might not be, say, climbing a mountain, the article really emphasizes sticking with low-intensity endurance workouts. Think steady-state cardio, activities where you can, keep going for a while without getting completely breathless. The goal isn't about becoming a bodybuilder. It's about building that cardiovascular base, good core strength for stability, and just getting your body used to moving over different kinds of terrain while carrying yourself and your gear. It helps prevent getting tired too quickly, makes the hunt more enjoyable and safer too.
Right. So building that foundation for small game, what specific exercises does the article actually recommend? What should people do?
Yeah, get some clear, practical starting points.
Right.
First up, hiking. This is maybe the most direct way. Doesn't have to be Everest. Just local trails, parks, maybe something with a few hills if that matches where you hunt. It trains your muscles for navigating roots, rocks, uneven ground. And a good tip they mention, start adding a weighted pack as you get fitter. Even 10, 15 pounds makes a difference, gets used to carrying that load. Second is biking. Great option because it's low impact. Good for your knees and joints. You could do it indoors on a stationary bike or get outside. Really builds leg strength and core stability. And third, planks. Simple, but super effective. Works your whole core, your shoulders, legs, everything. The advice is spot on. Start small, maybe 30 seconds, and build up. Aim for maybe doing a few sets of holding it for a minute. Great for overall body control.
That's a solid start. Okay, let's level up. Deer hunting. This is huge for so many hunters, especially whitetail hunting in the U.S. It's kind of the main event for a lot of people, drives the whole industry, really. So we've got that endurance case. What happens when we move to deer? Bigger animal, potentially longer sits or stalks, more demanding retrieves.
Yeah, this is where you see a definite jump in the physical demands compared to most small game hunting. It's not just the size of the deer itself, though that's obviously a big factor for the pack out. It's often about covering more ground, maybe hiking further into your spot, potentially longer hours spent out there. The article really puts it plainly. You need to up your game. And that means adding resistance workouts. This prep is vital for handling heavier packs, maybe carrying in climbing stands or more gear covering those distances, and crucially, having the strengths for that much bigger pack-out job. It's a significant step up in exertion.
Okay, so upping your game. Beyond that base endurance, what specific things does the article point to for building strength and stamina for deer hunters? Is it just lifting weights?
It's a bit more targeted than just hitting the gym randomly. Rucking comes up again, but maybe with more weight or tougher terrain than for small game prep. It directly mimics carrying heavy gear and eventually that deer. It builds practical, hunt-specific strength and endurance. Your legs, back, core, they all benefit. For folks just starting with strength work, the article suggests beginning with bodyweight exercises. Good old push-ups, squats, lunges, planks, sit-ups. These build a really solid foundation of strength and muscle endurance using just your own body. No equipment needed, which is great. Then, once you've got that base, incorporating free weights, dumbbells, kettlebells, barbells is the next step. This lets you progressively add resistance to really strengthen your arms, legs, shoulders, back, and core. That muscle power is what you'll need for dragging, lifting, and carrying.
Makes sense. Now, what about archery hunters? That's got to be a special consideration, right? Drawing a bow, especially a modern compound bow with decent poundage, holding it steady, that requires a very specific kind of strength, doesn't it? Often when your heart's pounding too.
Oh, absolutely. That's a really important point the article makes. For archery hunters, you need an archery-centric routine mixed in with your general conditioning. It's not enough just to be generally fit. You have to train the specific muscles you use to draw that bow. We're talking about building strength, yes, but also muscle memory and stability in your shoulders, back, and arms. This helps ensure you can make a smooth, controlled draw and hold steady at full draw for the shot. That moment of truth, any shaking or straining then can easily lead to a bad shot. So the key muscle groups highlighted are chest, back, especially the upper back and lats, shoulders, biceps, and triceps. And the article lists specific exercises that target these effectively. Things like dumbbell lateral raises for shoulders, shrugs for traps, or rows for your back muscles. Also bench dips for triceps, bent over lateral raises for the rear delts, different kinds of push-ups, planks again for core stability, and overhead triceps extensions. It's really about building that specific upper body strength and endurance needed for consistent, accurate shooting.
Okay, now for the big leagues. Physically speaking, North American big game. We're talking mountain hunts, goats, sheep, elk, mule deer, and rugged country. These sound like a whole different level of physical challenge.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When we talk about these hunts, the environmental and physical hurdles are just, well, immense compared to most other hunting. Most of these animals live in the mountains. So right away, you're dealing with steep, often unstable terrain. Rocks, scree, deadfall. Then there's altitude. Less oxygen makes everything harder. You fatigue faster. Mountain weather is famously unpredictable too. You can go from sun to snow in an hour. And often you're hiking for multiple days, maybe backpacking in. Just to find the animals is a serious undertaking. And the article is very clear. Hunting bigger game usually means carrying way more gear for longer. You need shelter, sleeping bags, stove, food for days. More layers, it adds up fast. And then the pack out is just on another scale. An elk or a moose. That's hundreds of pounds, often needing multiple trips over that same brutal terrain. The article doesn't mince words. If you're serious about these hunts, you absolutely must get your body ready. It's not just about success, it's about safety. Pushing yourself too hard unprepared in remote mountains can be genuinely dangerous.
Wow. Okay, so for that kind of extreme condition, what advanced conditioning does the article recommend? What do you add on top of the deer hunting prep to tackle the high country?
Right, so building on everything else, the endurance, the strength training, the rucking, the article suggests adding a couple more advanced techniques. First is high court training, high-intensity interval training. This involves short bursts of really intense effort, followed by brief recovery periods, repeated several times. Think sprinting uphill, then walking back down and repeating. Or maybe 20 seconds of hard work on a bike or rower, then 10 seconds rest, over and over. This really mimics the stop-start, high-exertion nature of mountain hunting, like climbing a steep ridge, catching your breath, then pushing on. It trains your heart and muscles to handle those peaks and recover quickly. Second is heavy rucking. Basically, taking the rucking we talked about and cranking it up. Load your pack with serious weight, think 50, 60 pounds or more, safely of course, and go find the steepest, roughest trails you can. For an extra challenge, the article even suggests throwing in bodyweight exercises during the ruck, like stop and do a set of squats or push-ups with a heavy pack on. This really builds that top-end endurance and strength needed for hauling immense loads in tough conditions.
That sounds incredibly challenging, but it makes complete sense given the demands. Okay, so we've covered small game, deer, big game. Bringing it all together, what are the big universal takeaways from the article for anyone wanting to get ready for their season, no matter what they hunt? Are there core principles?
Yes, definitely. The article does a good job of boiling it down to some key universal advice. First, commitment. Make a realistic plan and critically stick to it. Acknowledge it won't always be easy. Find your motivation and be consistent. That consistency is really what builds results over time. Second, nutrition. This goes beyond just eating less junk food. It's about fueling your body for the work you're asking it to do, getting enough protein for muscle repair, carbs for energy, and paying attention to micronutrients that help prevent cramps and fatigue. Proper fuel makes a huge difference in performance and recovery. And maybe the most emphasized point, hydration. The article basically chants it, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. It stresses how crucial water is for keeping your muscles, joints, everything working properly. Dehydration hits performance hard, increases injury risk, and can even impair your judgment out there. It's absolutely fundamental.
And that timing aspect seems critical too. This isn't something you can just, cram for in the last couple of weeks.
No, absolutely not. The article specifically recommends starting about 4 to 6 months before your hunt. That gives you enough time to build fitness gradually and safely, make real gains, and let your body adapt without risking injury or burnout. And importantly, it also encourages finding ways to enjoy it. Mix up your workouts, train with a buddy, appreciate being outside. If it feels like a total chore, it's harder to stick with. Make it sustainable.
Yeah, that's good advice. And the article wraps up with a line that really sticks. After all, if it's worth doing right and being prepared for the challenges. That kind of says it all, doesn't it? Applies to more than just hunting. Well, this has been a fantastic deep dive into conditioning for the hunt. It's clear that getting physically ready, whether it's basic endurance for small game, adding strength for deer, or going all out for big game, isn't just about punching a tag. It's really fundamental to safety, enjoyment, and just respecting the whole experience in the animals you pursue.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? This kind of dedicated preparation over months, setting a goal, making a plan, fueling your body, pushing through challenges. How might applying that same discipline and commitment translate to other parts of your life? Other goals, maybe challenges at work, or even just other outdoor adventures. It builds more than just muscle.
That's definitely something to chew on as you think about getting ready for whatever's next on your horizon. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you feel a bit more informed, maybe inspired, and perhaps ready to tackle that first workout, whether you're headed for the woods or somewhere else entirely.